Hey, you guys, I wanted to come on here and share a testimony. Some people have asked me to share this of what happened to me when I was about 19, 20, maybe 21. Me and a girl were driving to the store to get some beer. It was on a weekend. It was in about a November month. It was pretty cold out. We were in her husband's truck. It was in Kentucky and Fairdale, and many people witnessed this. We were driving on this road and we looked up. All these cars had stopped and stalled. We looked up towards the telephone poles. Right over 4 telephone poles were 4 flying saucers. They were shaped like saucers, just hovering, with lights darting in and out all around it, just hovering. And I believe that they were there for me, to take me, because they knew I was coming to shed the light on the truth of these beings. I truly believe, and listen to this, all these cars stopped. The store, there was a convenience store right on one corner. All the lights went out. People were coming out and pointing, and people had binoculars. And this is before we had camera phones and stuff. It was back in the middle 70s. You all know we didn't have cell phones and stuff then. We only had like 3 channels on TV. They were just coming out, not even coming out with cable yet. But anyway, these flying saucers, they stayed there for about 20 minutes just hovering. And my girlfriend got in the floorboard. She was so scared. And all I could do was lay on top of her because she was shaking so bad. And our skin was burnt. It was real red and burnt. And it was cold outside. And the sun wasn't even out. It was about 7 at night. And the sun was just going down. You know how in the winter it starts to get dark earlier. Well, I'll never forget this. I'll tell you about my boyfriend, about aliens later on that come and would get him. And I believe it was on account of me. But anyway, we went home and we didn't talk about it or anything. We were scared. We stayed in for about a week trying to figure out what we seen. We thought we sat and listened on the news to see if anybody had reported it. We didn't hear nothing. We were scared. We didn't even want to tell our families. We get a knock at the door on the 3rd day. 3 men dressed in black suits. This is no lie. Come to the door, and they wanted to speak to me. They knew my name. They knew my name. You all, there was no cable, no cell phones back then. We did not make no phone calls to nobody. A man told me to come outside. They all 3 had on sunglasses and black suits. I kid you not. They all had the same color hair. They were real polished looking and looked like mannequins. I'm telling you, they didn't look human. And they all 3 looked alike. And when I went in, my girlfriend, stood at the door listening. They said, if you ever speak about this or tell anybody, you will never see your families again. Don't let us come back. And they just turned around and walked away. That one of them just did all the talking. The other 2 didn't say nothing. I kid you not about this. Well, we couldn't figure out for the life of us how these beings, these 3 guys come to our house when we didn't even talk about it. We were afraid to even talk to each other about it. We were afraid they could hear us. We were afraid they were going to come and get us. It terrified us. My girlfriend, she's still alive. She's a psychiatrist today. And my boyfriend, listen to this. This guy is really in love with him. He was older than me. His name was Eddie, and he used to like to drink beer a lot. He worked at Ford's. He had a good job. We had a big camp down on the river. He started acting real weird after I left. Not out of his mind or anything, just kind of secluding himself. Well, he called me one night and said, Shell, I need you to come over here and see this. He said, I'm soaking wet. He said, you are not going to believe me, but I have been visited by aliens that come in my house and lead me to the back. There's a spaceship hovering in my backyard, and they take me on the spaceship. He said, I got marks on my body. You can see them. He said, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. My daughter thinks I've lost my mind. He said, Michelle, I hold a job and everything, and I don't see things like this. I don't talk about things like this. I don't believe in ghosts or nothing. He said, but I believe in aliens because they've been visiting me. Well, this went on for about 2 months. They kept coming to get him. It was just so happened after we would leave him or something, he would go to bed and they would come for him. Let me tell you how I know he was telling the truth. I knew he was. He would be soaking wet when they would bring him back, and he would always be in the hallway laying face down. They brought him back this one night. He said that they operated on him. I could see marks on his body, really unusual marks. Listen to this. He come home. We found him in the hallway. His tennis shoes were turned wrong side out. Hard rubber Adidas tennis shoes, or Nikes. I forget which kind. I think they were Nikes. Blue and white, that real hard plastic. There's no way. The shoes were turned wrong side out on his feet, and he would be soaking wet. We got him up. We couldn't figure out, we couldn't turn the shoes back inside out. It would have had to been done by a machine if it was possible. I don't even think that you could have turned them inside out through no kind of machine. This is the truth, you all. This happened to me and him. I believe that they were messing with him and maybe did something to him because of me. They could have put a device in him. I'm telling you all, aliens are real, and I know that they're of the marine kingdom spirits. They are real. And then I had an encounter with a giant in Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii. Being a seer, I know why now I see these things. I was driving on the Poly Lookout. I lived in Hawaii for 17 years. And I was driving, and all these cars were kind of slowing up. I looked up in the sky. There was a giant. I'm telling you, it went up into the heavens. I could see he was carrying a sword, and he was moving. He was walking. It was like you could feel the highway shaking as he walked. I kid you not. He had his sword up in the air like he was going into battle, and a shield in his left hand. His sword was in his right. And he had on like this pleated skirt, and I could see the colors in it. It was like a checkered color, like markings not of this world. Like it had some kind of markings on it. Okay? His head went up into the heavens. His arms were as big. I can't tell you how big he was, but his head went up into the heavens. I could tell it was a giant. And if you go read about Hawaiian folklore, they talk about seeing giants all the time in Hawaii. I've seen a lot of things there. There's a lot of different walks of life there that worship false gods. And I used to work in mortuary. I used to do bodies. Only me. I told y'all, the weirdest of things happened to me. I got offered a job. I did somebody's body, my girlfriend's body. They found her dead, and she didn't have no family or nothing. I paid for her casket. I paid for everything and buried her. I believe her boyfriend killed her because she was going to leave him. He was a cop. I believe he shot her up with some dope and killed her because he was really in love with her. He was married, and she just wanted to get away from him. You know, he was married, and she didn't want no more dealings with him. But I'm almost certain he did. I went in and started investigating. But I believe he killed her. But all this weird stuff happens to me. I understand it now why it does. But somebody asked me to make these videos. I'll tell you about some other weird things that happened. But that one with my boyfriend's shoes being turned wrong side out really got me. And the aliens. These beings are real, and I truly believe they were there for me. My mother said at birth that demons tried hard to kill me and her for 3 years. 3 years. She was electrocuted by lightning and almost killed during this. she was sick in bed for over a year. She said, I stayed sick for no reason. They could never find out why, because it was spiritual. They knew that my mom and dad's anointing rubbed off on me. I had a double dose of seeing, and I figured it out now why. I'm going to get off here. I'm waiting for somebody to come out of the doctor. I'll do some more videos. Know I love you all. Know I'm praying. If you need any deliverance, please contact me. Have a good day.